It's been a very interesting 2-year period, beginning with the commencement of the financial crisis in late 2008, right up until the recent Arab Spring, if you like, with the impetus of demand for change and for economic equality throughout the region. I think it's fair to say we had greater concerns, and the market was more strongly impacted by the financial crisis than perhaps some of the more recent social unrest. And I think that's because of the fact that people have taken a long-term view of where we've been in business and where we're going in business. Democratic change as far as economic development is occurring everywhere in the world on a daily basis, not just in the Middle East. And despite some of the negative impacts that have come out of some of the social unrest, there's a very clear recognition in the market, and I picked this up in our visits to Europe, but there's a very clear recognition in the market that the Middle East is still a very big untapped opportunity. You're talking about a population with a very young demographic, and demographics are what create business opportunities. It's a very young demographic, and it's a large demographic, 320 million people in the Middle East, North Africa region. That's equivalent to Southeast Asia. If you look at Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, it's larger than the United States, and it's equivalent to some of the larger European markets combined. Now, where we are in terms of economic growth and economic maturity in that market is at the bottom of the curve. And people who have been in business for a longer period of time recognise that they need to ride that curve. Despite the hiccups that occur along the way, the curve is definitely on the way up in terms of opportunity, in terms of investment, and obviously in terms of return on that investment. All major real estate development opportunities, for example, particularly projects the scale of Bahrain Bay, but real estate in general, go through cycles. They're anywhere between a 5, 7 or even a 9-year cycle. And depending on where you start your project or you enter your project in that market and the cycle,
you're lucky or not.
You're either your timing's right or wrong. Sophisticated investors recognise that. Sophisticated investors try to time themselves to get the maximum opportunity as it evolves. And I think it's fair to say that Bahrain Bay timed itself perfectly. The shareholders of the project saw the improved market conditions coming. That allowed us to get into the market and establish our brand and our reputation and our credibility. It also allowed us to come to the market with product that we had real passion in selling and a recognition that it was a genuine opportunity because of the way we went about building the Bahrain Bay project. And it's allowed us to reap some of the revenues in the early stages of the project, which has given us a very strong financial footing. And that's allowed us now to have flexibility going forward. Well, Bahrain is only a very small market compared to the larger Middle East market, but it's a key market because people have recognised, and Bahrain itself has been very well done very well in promoting itself as the gateway to the Middle East. And that position and that reputation has been built up over a long period of time, not just the last 5 years during the boom time of the 2007 through to 2009 period, but it's been built up over 40 years. And that reputation has been recognised by investors around the world. So when they begin to investigate the Middle East market, they always reference Bahrain. They know Bahrain has progressed in terms of democracy. They recognise that Bahrain is leading the way in terms of change. Nobody's pretending that Bahrain has reached its goal because it's definitely still evolving, and the government and the commercial industries and the private sector are all trying to push together to carry Bahrain forward to its next goal. But investors from overseas who talk to us and sit down and discuss the real opportunities of not just Bahrain but the Middle East want to know whether Bahrain is still on track. Is it still committed to its governmental policy? Is it still committed to its infrastructure and social evolution? Is it still interested in looking at foreign investors, adding impetus to their market? Are they prepared to diversify their products across those markets, both local, regional and international? And what are the government prepared to do to assist in that process? And when you go down that list, you can tick all those boxes for Bahrain, because the positive initiatives that were initiated not just in the last 6 months in response to some of the unrest, but many years ago, have been building over time, and they are still in place. And they're very true of where the government is taking the Kingdom of Bahrain as an economy over the next few years.